On 22nd May, in the stillness of 5:55 a.m., Archangel Michael revealed, "They are being judged, but the next step is divine." In the quiet breath of dawn, as the world still sleeps and the veil between heaven and earth thins, a divine moment was marked in eternity, 5:55 a.m. on the 22nd of May. This was not just another morning. This was not just another whisper in the wind. This was an hour chosen by heaven itself, a spiritual timestamp where the scales of justice tipped, and Archangel Michael, heaven's chief of war and righteousness, stepped forth with sword unsheathed and revelation in hand. At 5:55, a divine alignment occurs. Triple grace, triple transformation, triple warning. This is not a number. It is a seal of change, a seal of divine inspection, a seal of supernatural insight. At this very moment, Michael descended not with chaos, but with clarity, not with thunder, but with truth. His voice echoed in stillness. His message cut through silence. He declared that judgment was underway, not against you, but against those who tampered with your peace, disrupted your path, and thought heaven was not watching. They thought your silence was weakness. They thought your surrender meant defeat. But they misunderstood heaven's strategy. You must understand, this message is not for everyone. This is not casual content. This is not entertainment. This is divine intersection. This is sacred intelligence. This is a spiritual alert for those who walk in awareness, who have been sensing something unseen, feeling emotional chaos that had no name, and watching patterns shift in ways they could not explain. You were led here, not by curiosity, but by divine direction. There are no accidents in the spiritual realm, only orchestration. Archangel Michael has revealed that someone near you is under judgment. But this word is not a curse, it's a covering. This is not about condemnation, it is about confirmation. You are not the target, you are the testimony. You are not the one being judged, you are the one being protected while judgment moves around you. Yes, there is a reason your spirit has felt heavy. There is a reason your sleep has been interrupted. There is a reason you've questioned your surroundings. Because heaven is evaluating. Heaven is exposing. Heaven is activating. But hear this. Do not move in fear. Move in stillness. Do not respond in haste. Wait in discernment. For those who are spiritually sensitive, you already know. Something shifted at 5:55 a.m. You might not have words for it yet, but your spirit caught it. That unease was not paranoia, it was prophetic. That silence was not emptiness, it was holy. That hour was not random, it was divine. And now, Archangel Michael brings the next layer of revelation. You are being invited not just to witness, but to understand. You are not merely observing the judgment. You are being positioned for the divine next step. So I say unto you, turn off the noise. Turn off the doubt. Shut out the confusion. And step into stillness. For in stillness, the voice of heaven speaks. In silence, divine truth unfolds. You were not overlooked. You were hidden. You were not forgotten. You were guided. You were not left behind. You were preserved for such a time as this. The divine is moving. The judge are trembling. And you are rising. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 999 is now surrounding you. It was at precisely 5:55 a.m. on the 22nd of May that the silence became sacred. Not because the sun was rising, but because heaven had already risen. The hour had been marked. The time had been chosen. And in the stillness that blanketed the world, Archangel Michael stepped forward, not with fanfare, but with fire, not with drama, but with divine determination. He did not speak through thunder. He did not announce himself with signs. He moved through silence, and in that silence, he spoke. Before noon, you will know why. These were the words etched in the atmosphere. They were not meant to be shouted. They were meant to be spiritually sensed. You didn't hear them in your ears, but you felt them in your bones. You didn't read them on a screen, but you read them in your spirit. And if this message has found you, it's because you were meant to hear it. Not everyone will. Not everyone can. This is a sacred intersection, only for the awakened. You see, at 5:55 a.m., Michael's sword wasn't drawn for destruction, it was drawn for defense. Not to start a war, but to end one in the spirit. He is not fighting your enemies. He is cutting away the veil of deceit, the veil of manipulation, the veil of silence that others tried to hide behind while plotting in shadows. The betrayal you felt. It wasn't your imagination. The delays you've endured. They weren't coincidence. The strange emotional unrest. It wasn't anxiety, it was anticipation. Heaven was already moving. You've been sensing it. You've been carrying the weight of a battle you couldn't see. You've been pulled back from conversations, places, and people, and you didn't know why. Your spirit was grieving a war it could feel, but your mind couldn't name. And now, Michael comes not just to reveal, but to redeem. Heaven saw what was whispered behind your back. Heaven recorded what was said in your absence. Heaven heard every distorted word, every false narrative, every plan that was not birthed in light but in shadows. This is not just another message. It is a divine warning with a redemptive core. Someone close to you is under judgment. Not by your hands, but by divine order. The throne has spoken. The court of heaven had been convened. Michael stands as both witness and warrior. And you have been summoned not to judge but to listen. Not to attack but to discern. Not to retaliate but to rise. You are not here by chance. You were chosen to hear this. At knot in your stomach. At quickening in your spirit. A tear that wells up without warning. That's not emotional instability. That's spiritual recognition. Your soul recognizes the sound of heaven. It recognizes truth. And what you're feeling now is the shift. A divine exchange in motion. What does this mean for you? It means you do nothing. You say nothing. You move only when heaven says move. Because the sword has already been unsheathed. The war has already been won. The exposure has already begun. You don't need to fight to be vindicated. You only need to be still. The one who betrayed you. They are facing the consequences of divine justice. The one who tried to sabotage your peace. They are being silenced, not by you, but by the very angel who protects you. So receive this message. Let it settle in your soul. You are not losing. You are not confused. You are not crazy. You are called. And the hour of your elevation has been activated in the most quiet, yet most powerful way. At 5:55 a.m., heaven opened its book, and you were found faithful. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1516 is now activated. There is something you've been feeling that you couldn't explain. Something off. Something shifting. Something unspoken. You tried to brush it aside, to rationalize it away, to name it as mere emotion. But it lingered. It grew. And then it broke the surface. A heaviness in the heart, a fog in the mind, a pressure in the spirit. Why? Because betrayal doesn't always announce itself with daggers. It often arrives in smiles. Archangel Michael reveals this truth. Someone around you is being spiritually exposed. The ones who claimed loyalty while secretly entertaining your downfall. The ones who wore masks of kindness but carried whispers of judgment. The delays you've experienced. The strange cancellations. The tension in rooms that used to feel safe. These are not accidents. They are signs. Divine alerts embedded in your daily life. Patterns meant to open your eyes, not just your mind. What you thought was emotional imbalance was actually prophetic discernment. You were not unstable. You were being awakened. That sudden desire to withdraw, that urge to detach. You were the Holy Spirit creating space, removing access, limiting spiritual contamination. You're not paranoid. You're being protected by prophetic insight. Michael speaks now. You're sensing something shifting. Now you'll know why. Because even though the betrayal was silent, heaven heard it loud. Even though the enemy moved subtly, the angels moved swiftly. Every unspoken plan is now being dragged into the light. Every misused conversation is being judged. Every person who thought their role in your life was hidden is now being reviewed. Not by you, but by heaven's court. And this is where the discomfort rises. Because when spiritual judgment begins, those connected to you will be agitated. You will feel their turbulence in your spirit. You'll pick up on their fear, their chaos, their trembling, without them ever saying a word. This is spiritual disruption. You are anointed, and your presence has now become a spotlight. You are the mirror that reflects their lies, and even in your silence, their shadows are convulsing under heaven's scrutiny. Do not panic. Do not question your peace. It is real. It is divine. You are not alone in this exposure. Michael is present. The judgment isn't yours to carry. It is yours to witness. And the ones who once manipulated perception, twisted truth, and sowed seeds of division, their season of influence is closing. Your mask is slipping. The time of hiding is over. They are being judged. And you are being elevated. Type "I am victorious" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 2121 is encircling you now. You must understand, this has never been a random battle. What you've endured was not the result of misfortune. It was not because you were weak. It was not because you lacked faith. It was filtration. It was holy separation. It was divine elimination for elevation. Archangel Michael speaks now, and he speaks with celestial certainty. What felt like loss was not punishment. It was preservation. They left you. They misunderstood you. They took your silence as defeat. But what they failed to see, what they could not discern, was that heaven had placed a covering over your life. A separation not for shame, but for sanctification. This conflict, this chaos, it was never merely personal. It was spiritual. And every moment of betrayal, every whisper behind your back, every tear cried in the dark, it has been recorded in the books of heaven. You are not cursed. You are consecrated. You are not forgotten. You are forwarded. This is not a downfall. This is a divine setup, because the judgment around you is not a reflection of your weakness. It is a sign of your protection. When God begins to judge those who manipulated access to your life, it is not because you begged for justice. It is because heaven has declared your consecration too sacred to be entangled in spiritual pollution. You see, Archangel Michael does not arrive without cause. His presence signals warfare, but also witness. He has not come to validate your pain. He has come to vindicate your purpose. He stands now over your situation, not with pity, but with power. And he declares, heaven is documenting every act and every silence. The ones who threw stones and hid their hands, documented. The ones who smiled while sabotaging your name, documented. The ones who watched your suffering and stayed silent, also documented. This is the spiritual framing of your conflict. You've been feeling unanchored because heaven has been rearranging everything around you. Your relationships, your priorities, your discernment, even your timing. And now, Archangel Michael lifts the veil. This conflict was never about what they did. It was about what you're becoming. Heaven couldn't allow you to build with the unstable. Heaven couldn't let you plant with the deceptive. Heaven couldn't allow the next season of your life to be tainted by the hidden agendas of others. So, heaven shook the table. Heaven disrupted the room. Heaven ended conversations you weren't strong enough to end. And every disruption, though painful, was mercy. Every delay was shielding. Every closed door was deliverance in disguise. You were never being rejected. You were being repositioned. You were never being punished. You were being preserved. The war wasn't around you. It was over you. Over your mind. Over your calling. Over your alignment. And now, the conflict has revealed its true nature. Divine testing with eternal consequence. So don't curse the ones who walk away. Don't resent the season of separation. Don't mourn what was never meant to remain. Because now, clarity is arriving. Judgment is unfolding. And Michael stands watch over every soul who touched your destiny, rightly or wrongly. You are not here by mistake. You are not under review. They are. And now, with every breath you take, you walk as one who is not just chosen, but guarded by divine fire. Type I am consecrated in the comments if this word pierces your spirit. Lesson code 414 is surrounding your decisions. Hear this and mark it well. By the end of this week, a truth will collapse. Not in secret, but in the open. Not with whispers, but with consequences. Heaven has seen enough. The threshold of grace has been reached. And now, Archangel Michael declares a divine reckoning is in motion. This is not a threat. This is a spiritual warning, not just for those who wronged you, but for you. Because how you move now matters. What you say, what you don't say, who you call, who you let go. This is not the time to be careless with your words or your energy. This is divine strategy. Someone once close to you, someone whose presence brought confusion, someone whose loyalty felt unstable, is now facing unseen confrontation. Not from you, not from a mutual friend, but from the realm of heaven itself. What they buried is being unearthed. What they denied is being confronted. What they thought was forgotten is being yet. Michael warns, do not intervene. Interference invites consequence. A text you want to send, let it go. That response you want to write, delete it. That conversation you want to initiate, resist it. This is not your battle. It is heaven's courtroom now. And the moment you step in, you remove the divine covering that is preserving your peace. This is not silence from fear, it is silence as warfare. Because your silence is a weapon, and in the spirit realm, silence speaks louder than screams. Silence is agreement with heaven. Silence is spiritual obedience. Silence says, I trust God's justice more than I trust my own. This level of spiritual maturity is what unlocks divine reversal. Make no mistake, things are being exposed. Emails, apps, phone calls, conversations, what-ifs, all being pulled into the light. And when this collapse happens, when this truth finally buckles under the weight of its own deception, you must remain still. Let heaven handle it. Let the sword of Michael cut what your words cannot. You were not built for revenge. You were not anointed for petty responses. You are not here to make your case. You are the case. Your growth. Your healing. Your restraint. That's your testimony. That's your weapon. And that's what heaven is honoring in this moment. So guard your gates. Protect your peace. Be unmoved. Because the next 7 days are sacred. This is the window of exposure. The week of divine accountability. And if you stay quiet, if you stay spiritually postured, heaven will finish what it started. And when it does, you will witness the shift. You will feel the release. You will see how silence roars louder than any storm the enemy ever tried to send. If this word resonates with your spirit, consider supporting this message with a super thanks offering. Gifts of $20 help us keep releasing powerful, prophetic content to those who need it most. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type I will be still in the comments to seal this warning. Blessing code 717 is now protecting your next 7 days. Let those words echo within you, not as suggestion, but as divine instruction. You are not meant to fight in this season. You are not meant to argue, to justify, to explain, to correct what is being unraveled. Your silence is sacred. Your restraint is royal. Your peace is prophetic. Archangel Michael is already active on your behalf, and when heaven moves, your only job is to get out of the way. What's happening around you now is not random delay. It is divine intervention. Conversations are drying up. Doors are closing without explanation. People are pulling away without warning. Don't chase them. Don't question the quiet. Don't disrupt the detachment. Michael is creating spiritual insulation, pulling you back not to punish you but to preserve you. You see, what's been rising against you wasn't only natural, it was spiritual interference. Familiar spirits. And viewing. Word curses rest in small talk. False alignment masked as friendliness. And now, heaven has stepped in to break the contracts you didn't even know were signed over your spirit. That's why the silence around you has increased. That's why your inner world feels louder. Because the noise has been turned down externally, so you can finally hear heaven clearly. So let this be your command. Withdraw from unnecessary conversations. You do not owe explanations. You do not need to respond to every invitation. Not everyone who asks for access deserves to hear your spirit speak. You are in a season of separation, not isolation. It's holy. It's healing. It's heaven's holding pattern for your next level. Michael says, let prayers replace confrontation. You've wasted enough energy defending yourself. You've exhausted your emotional strength trying to fix what God is intentionally dismantling. You don't need another conversation. You need another consecration. Go into prayer. Go into stillness. Go into alignment. Because heaven is doing what your words could never do. And what of the inner war? The emotional arrest. The turmoil you feel when thinking about those who wronged you. That's not weakness. It's spiritual weight being lifted. You're not breaking down. You're breaking through. You're not losing control. You're losing access to what no longer serves your calling. Your weapon is not retaliation. Your weapon is reverence. Your weapon is restraint. And as Michael stands guard, sword unsheathed, what he's cutting away is not just the enemy. It's every hidden tether that tried to drag your spirit backwards. He's severing ties that were never anointed. He's slicing away spiritual distractions. He's clearing your atmosphere for the arrival of divine direction. Heaven is loud right now, but not in thunder. It is loud in confirmation, in signs, in divine detours, in unexplained favor, in inner peace that makes no logical sense. And the moment you step into silence, the orchestration begins. The moment you stop explaining, the elevation begins. The moment you stop fighting to be understood, you become unshakable. This is your divine assignment. Say nothing. Let God be your defender. Let Michael be your protector. Let stillness become your strategy. Because what's coming next isn't just clarity, it's compensation. Type "I will be silent" in the comments if you feel this spiritual instruction. Blessing code 626 is now surrounding your boundaries. Now that the smoke is clearing and the noise is dying down, you can feel it. The shift. The alignment. The divine pivot that's been working behind the scenes. This is where the pain you've endured begins to make sense. This is where discernment sharpens. This is where the fire you walk through becomes the very flame that forged your mantle. You've evolved, and they never adjusted. They still speak to the old version of you. The one who explained too much, forgave too quickly, gave too often, stayed too long. But that version died in the fire. That version was buried in the silence. That version was purified through pressure. And now, you've emerged, not bitter but better. Not hardened but holy. Not fragile but forged. The betrayal wasn't personal. It was preparational. The delay wasn't denial. It was development. Every sleepless night. Every unanswered prayer. Every time you felt abandoned by man. It was heaven pulling you closer, drawing you deeper, burning away every illusion so that only the anointed you could rise. Michael speaks this truth. The pain built your discernment and your destiny. You didn't just survive. You grew. You didn't just endure. You ascended. And now your discernment is no longer emotional. It is prophetic. You see clearly. You feel differently. You no longer need validation to know your value. You no longer need applause to know you're anointed. Your presence has now become uncomfortable to the disloyal. Because light irritates what's been hiding in darkness. Because oil causes what's unclean to slip away. And your energy, your essence, your elevation, it now commands spiritual respect. Not because you demanded it, but because you became it. You are no longer rising in vengeance. You are rising in victory. This is not about proving them wrong. It's about proving God right. It's not about revenge. It's about redemption. It's not about punishing them. It's about positioning you. And this is why they are being judged. Because heaven must remove what cannot handle the new version of you. Your frequency has changed. Your walk is different. Your standards are heaven-sent. And anyone not assigned to this new level, they're being sifted. You're not arrogant. You're aware. You're not cold, you're called. You're not distant. You're divinely aligned. So now you walk differently. You speak with intention. You guard your space with fire. Because you finally realize your presence is sacred real estate. Not everyone can live in it. Not everyone can access it. And not everyone will survive the light you now carry. Michael reminds you, do not shrink back. Do not play small. Do not apologize for your anointing. Heaven has not brought you this far for you to remain mute, meek, or manipulated. You are stepping into the full authority of who you were always meant to be. This is not arrogance. This is ascension. If this divine word speaks to you, consider sowing into this message with a super thanks. Gifts of $50 support the spiritual work we release and expand this prophetic movement. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type I am empowered in the comments if this is your season of shift. Blessing code 5555 is now empowering your footsteps. Archangel Michael now speaks with the clarity of heaven and the fire of truth. This judgment was never about them. It was about you. You see, for so long you thought the betrayal was the focus. You believed the lies were the main event. You assumed the exposure was about what they did to you. But heaven now reveals what the enemy tried to hide. You were the true subject of heaven's divine attention all along. Everything they did, every plot they conceived, every word they twisted, it was never the true story. The true story was the way you remained faithful. The true story was the way you kept walking in purity when others dipped into deception. The true story was the way you held your peace while your name was being dragged. And because of that, heaven did not just watch, heaven documented. Heaven did not just record, heaven rewarded. This season of judgment isn't punishment, it's a platform. Their betrayal, it became the backdrop for your breakthrough. Their rejection, it became the canvas for your revealing. You were never the supporting cast, you were the main event. And now, with the sword drawn and heaven's spotlight shining, what was meant to bury you has actually built you. Let this revelation penetrate deep. God used their betrayal as a backdrop for your anointing. Their disloyalty revealed your devotion. Their manipulation revealed your maturity. Their deception revealed your discernment. And while they played games in shadows, heaven crafted glory in silence. What they thought they were taking from you, they were actually setting you up for. What they shut in your face, God is now swinging wide open. Because the very door they slammed out of pride and pretense is the exact portal heaven is now activating in your favor. And not just opening, but opening with acceleration, with clarity, and with heaven's seal of favor. Hear this, because you did not retaliate, heaven will reward publicly. Your refusal to fight with the flesh, your surrender to silence, your decision to let God be your defender, that posture has now positioned you for public honor, for tables being prepared in front of those who mocked you, for blessings that will not be hidden, for favor that will require no explanation. You are entering a season where the prophetic promise on your life will now be undeniable. Those who questioned you will have no choice but to witness your rise. Not because you forced it, but because God is now revealing it. This is your prophetic revelation. You are not being delivered from them. You're being delivered through them. Through their opposition, through their betrayal, through their rejection, heaven has proven your endurance, confirmed your character, and activated your anointing. You are not a victim. You are not a product of what happened. You are the evidence of what heaven redeems when a soul remains surrendered. You are the fulfillment of prophetic alignment. You are the confirmation that God still honors the faithful, the pure, the consistent, and the still. Type "I receive my revelation" in the comments if this is unlocking you. Blessing code 818 is now pouring out divine clarity over your next steps. Now comes the command that shifts you from revelation to activation. This word is not just to inform you, it is to ignite you. It is to push you, even trembling, into the timing that heaven has ordained. Because while they are being judged, you are being summoned. While they are unraveling, you are being released. And Archangel Michael now speaks boldly. Say yes to the next level, even if you're afraid. Fear has whispered that you're not ready, that your timing is off, that you need more confirmation. But you've been prepared in silence. You've been tested in darkness. You've been equipped in the quiet. Now it's time to move. This is your season of assignment, your hour of calling, your doorway into destiny. But the threshold won't wait forever. The next level is open, but it demands a decision. Heaven is waiting, not for your perfection, but for your permission. For your yes, a yes that sounds like surrender, that moves through obedience, that manifests in action. Write the vision. Declare the shift. Accept the mantle. Do not wait for applause. Do not wait for permission. Do not ask for validation from those who are no longer qualified to speak over your future. Your next level is not about proving yourself. It's about fulfilling heaven's assignment on your life. Now is the time to activate what's been sleeping. At book, at ministry, at move, at relationship, at mission, at healing, at business, at purpose. Write it, declare it, move in it. Because action is alignment, and alignment is acceleration. You are not waiting for God anymore. Heaven is now waiting on you. Michael's voice thunders in your spirit. Don't delay. This timing is ordained, not optional. The enemy wants you second-guessing. He wants you analyzing, doubting, overthinking. But clarity comes in movement. Peace comes in obedience. Breakthrough comes in saying yes, even before you understand all the details. The time for hesitation is over. The time for timidity is done. The time for small thinking is finished. You've outgrown the old rooms. You've outgrown the shallow waters. Now you must walk into the deep, the prophetic deep where faith becomes movement, and movement becomes manifestation. Yes, it may stretch you. Yes, it may scare you. But it is sacred. It is divine. And your footsteps are already ordered. You've cried for this door. You've prayed for this opportunity. You've wept over this assignment. Now, it's open. And open doors don't last forever. Don't fumble the hour of fulfillment. Don't sit in the seat of fear. Get up. Move forward. And claim your mantle. Because the anointing doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It flows when faith moves. If this message is activating your spirit, consider becoming a channel supporter with a super thanks of $20. Your contribution helps us continue releasing anointed messages to the world. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type ISAYYES in the comments if your spirit agrees. Blessing code 1010 is now unlocking divine activation over your life. There is a truth many overlook, yet it governs the movements of heaven and earth. Not all victories are loud, and not all battles are seen. In fact, Some of the most decisive shifts in your destiny have occurred while you were kneeling in surrender, while you were crying out in silence, while you were walking through days that felt void of clarity, but filled with weight. Archangel Michael reveals what few understand. While you prayed, angels negotiated. Yes, while you thought nothing was happening, while you wrestled with weariness and delay, the courtroom of heaven was in session. While you were releasing sighs in your bedroom, the spirit realm was conducting an exchange. Words were being weighed. Accusations were being silenced. Your tears were being translated into divine instruction. This is what the enemy never wanted you to know, that your stillness was not empty. That your obedience in the face of betrayal, your refusal to retaliate, your courage to forgive even when you were breaking, it sent signals into the spirit realm. And those signals authorized heavenly negotiations on your behalf. What does that mean? It means what was delayed is now being accelerated. What was withheld is now being released. What was buried is now being resurrected. Because the angels didn't just observe your pain, they moved in it. They activated a divine transaction that human hands could never arrange. Contracts that tried to block your destiny, they are being broken. Cycles that tried to keep you bound, they are being shattered. And the time you thought was lost, it is being rewoven into favor. Yes, lost time is being restored. Every year you felt behind. Every opportunity you thought you missed. Every moment you believed it was too late, heaven is correcting the timeline. Because this silent exchange wasn't just about vindication. It was about restoration. About putting back in place what was stolen. About reassigning blessings that were delayed because of warfare, sabotage, or confusion. You felt drained because your spirit was working in the unseen. You've carried burdens you couldn't name. You've been tired even after resting. That's not emotional fatigue. It's spiritual exhaustion from divine engagement. Your spirit has been standing in agreement with angelic movement. And now, as the battle winds down, your strength will return. As the agreements are sealed in the heavens, your clarity will sharpen. And as the blessings descend, your testimony will emerge. Michael says, this is why you felt heavy without reason, because what you couldn't fight in the natural, we fought in the supernatural. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are war-worn in victory. And this exchange, though silent, will echo loudly in your life, with open doors, with supernatural peace, with relationships that carry healing and not harm. The divine exchange is complete. What was theirs has been removed. What is yours has been reclaimed. And now, heaven places in your hands the receipt of intercession, favor backed by fire. Type I receive the exchange in the comments if you know this word was for you. Blessing code 9111 is completing the transaction now. Now comes the culmination. The chapter that flips the narrative. The moment where the one who endured quietly is raised publicly. Archangel Michael stands in full authority and proclaims with a voice that shakes both realms, what they sowed in secrecy will be reaped in public. This is the divine law of spiritual justice. It is not petty. It is not vindictive. It is not rooted in revenge. It is the righteous hand of God ensuring that the scales are balanced, that what was done in the dark is no longer allowed to fester unseen, that what was whispered in malice now meets the light of truth. Their spiritual standing is collapsing, not because you prayed for their destruction, but because heaven has seen their intentions. Because while you were seeking healing, they were sowing harm. While you were protecting their name, they were damaging yours. And now, the divine gavel has fallen. Heaven has initiated divine reversal. What this means is profound. Roles are shifting. Influence is changing hands. Those who once held power through manipulation are losing it. Those who were celebrated falsely are being exposed truly. And those, like you, who remained humble and hidden, are now being restored with honor. You are not stepping into favor because of what you earned, but because of what you endured. And that endurance did something few can ever understand. It created a spiritual reservoir. Every tear became a testimony. Every wound became a window for God's glory. And now, favor, honor, and recompense are your portion. Yes, recompense. Restoration multiplied. What you lost will return as it was. It will return better. The job, the relationship, the platform, the clarity, even your own identity. Everything is being handed back to you in upgraded form. This is the beauty of spiritual justice. It doesn't just correct, it redeems. Michael declares, "You will not recognize your next season because it will carry none of the weight of the last. You will walk differently. You will love differently. You will speak differently, not with pain, but with peace. Not with trauma, but with truth. And yes, they will see it. Those who thought you'd fold. Those who wagered on your downfall. Those who counted you out while smiling in your face. They will watch, not in punishment but in proof. Proof that heaven responds. That God keeps receipts. That archangels take action. That the righteous are never forsaken. So walk now, with your head lifted, with your posture straightened, not in arrogance but in awareness. You are the recipient of reversal. You are the embodiment of heaven's justice. You are the proof that stillness wins. If this word affirms your spirit, please consider supporting the release of more divine revelations by sending a super thanks. A $1.20 gift keeps these messages flowing to those who need it. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type Divine Justice is mine in the comments to receive this blessing. Blessing code 3030 is now sealing your reversal. You are judged faithful. The next step is divine. These are not just words. They are heaven's conclusion over your life. As of 5:55 a.m. on May 22nd, the case was reviewed. The verdict was released. The judgment was not against you. It was for you. Archangel Michael stood as witness, and the heavens responded. Now, you are stepping into a realm of divine certainty. All along, while you were questioning your worth, wondering if you had missed your timing, doubting if heaven heard you, the throne was already deciding your outcome. And this is it. You are judged faithful. Not flawless, not perfect, but faithful. And in the language of heaven, faithfulness qualifies you for divine promotion. Now comes the next step, and it is divine. Not man-made, not opinion-approved, not contingent upon their apology, their validation, or their return. What is being activated in your life is God-ordained, Spirit-breathed, and eternally secured. And no one can revoke it. No system can block it. No voice can silence it. Because this is a movement not from earth, but from eternity. May your spirit now remain still, even when things start accelerating. May your heart remain rooted, even as doors begin to open rapidly. May your soul stay anchored, even as you rise into rooms your past could never prepare you for. Heaven is finishing what it started, and what God begins, no man can alter. You are not walking into a new chapter. You are walking into your divine scroll being unsealed. You are stepping into alignment, into inheritance, into identity. And though the world may still be adjusting to your anointing, heaven has already crowned you. So let this blessing be your seal. May peace follow your footsteps like a shadow. May clarity sharpen your spirit like a sword. May favor surround you like armor. May heaven's voice be louder than every doubt. And may Michael's protection be upon your home, your purpose, and your divine next step. You are shielded. You are chosen. You are sealed. Now rise, not just into a new day, but into a new dimension. For your season was activated at 5:55 a.m., and nothing will ever be the same again. Type "I am divinely judged and blessed" in the comments to seal this final affirmation. Blessing code 555 is now your entry into divine timing,